Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miist back again for another video today. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video, and we're going to be talking about every movie I watched last week. Quick little disclaimer, I don't know what's been going on, but I'm not feeling that great, and I have a pretty bad migraine, so I'm going to try to go through this video a little bit quickly. And I do record these videos the night before they go up, because I typically always work on Monday, and I work tomorrow morning, so yeah, I want to go to bed. Really, that's just the most simple way I could put it. So let's get into this. Let's talk about every movie I watched last week. Excuse me, starting it with my least favorite watch of the week, which is good old Waking Life, which is a Richard Linklater film that, truthfully, I never heard of, but I ended up watching this week because one of the themes of the week was Linklater movies. And so far, this is the only one of his movies that I did not enjoy. Actually, I think this is the only one of his movies that I've ranked under a 4-star, actually, now that I think about it. So that's quite impressive. And truthfully, this movie I just think is too smart for me. I ranked it a 29 out of 100 because I just didn't understand anything. It's a really philosophical movie with a lot of probably interesting points that I truthfully just don't understand. I don't get. I can't wrap my head around. And like I said, I'm just not smart enough to understand what the conversations in this movie are. And I didn't like the animation either. It didn't sit well with me, and it physically hurt my eyes watching the animation at times. So really, it was just kind of a recipe for disaster. Unfortunately, I didn't really know what I was expecting heading into it, and yeah, just kind of didn't work out, and unfortunately I didn't enjoy it. 29 out of 100. Let's move on to yet another theme of the week. Start going with Rambo 3, which I never ended up finishing the Rambo movies last year like I had planned. That was one of my goals for last year. I never ended up finishing it. Only like 2 of them were on streaming services at the time. Now I think 4 of them are. So I seen that another 2 of them were on streaming services. So I rented the other one. Anyways, Rambo 3, it was okay. It was fine. It was pretty predictable. Ranked it a 51 out of 100. It was okay. Moving on to Rambo from 2008, which I ranked at 56 out of 100. And this one was okay as well, but it had quite an amazing third act and last like half an hour of the movie, truthfully, because it was fucking wild. It was absolutely berserk because of the absolute bloodbath massacre that we were put through in the last half an hour of the movie, which I really wasn't expecting it to be so gory and kind of like comedic gore, I guess. Just the way that some of the people are killed. Anyways, I just had a good time with the third act. It was a lot of fun, and really that's where it gets a lot of points to make it a 56 out of 100. Let's move on to Here, which is directed by Robert Zemeckis, who is one of the directors I want to go through his filmography a little bit more this year, because I haven't watched stuff like Forrest Gump in a really long time, and Back to the Future, for example, which I've never watched, plus more. So watching Here was pretty interesting. It's kind of an interesting way to film a movie all in one location, except for literally the last like 30 seconds of the movie. And I feel like that is quite an achievement, to be honest, and that's quite impressive. And seeing different stories kind of overlapping over different generations and over different centuries, really, I should say. It's kind of cool to see, and we get to see a lot of different people going in and out of that house. But overall, it was a decent movie, 64 out of 100. Moving on to actually another 64 out of 100, we have Rambo Last Blood, which, oh, you know what? I have a picture. Oh, I meant to actually, okay, that's funny. Anyways, I meant to actually lower Here to a 63 out of 100 and put Last Blood up to a 64 out of 100. So that's my bad. Anyways, pretend this is 64, pretend Here was a 63. Rambo Last Blood, similar to Rambo, it's just a crazy action gore fest in the third act with some really creative scenes and some really creative kills that I quite enjoyed. Sylvester Stallone is awesome, obviously, and it was just kind of cool to see him kick some ass with with a lot of different weapons and unique ways of doing so as well. And I enjoyed that. 63 out of 100. Let's move on to another theme of the week, which is actually some of Mel's favorite movies. It was Mel's birthday on the 6th, which I believe was on Thursday. So happy birthday to Mel. She's 22 now. And we watched the High School Musical trilogy all today, actually. We watched all three of them today over the past 6 hours, I guess. Starting it off with High School Musical 2, which is my least favorite of the trilogy, which is also Mel's least favorite of the trilogy, which is kind of ironic because it's the highest rated on Letterboxd out of the trilogy, and I think we're in the minority for thinking that it's not the best, which is kind of surprising. But this time, instead of really reviewing these movies, I added a lot of funny quotes throughout the movie, or comedic, or just kind of decent quotes, I guess, which you can read some of them. And absolutely one of my least favorite songs in all of human existence is in this movie, which this movie loses a lot of points for because it's a really great soundtrack. There's some really awesome numbers and some really awesome songs, but specifically, I don't even know how to say it. But you can guess by looking at my review. I just can't stand that song, and I wish it wasn't on the Disney Plus version. And yeah, maybe in the future, Mel and I will probably skip it because although she enjoys it, I do not. High School Musical 2 did not change, rank it a 70 out of 100. Let's move on to one of the Best Picture nominees of 2025, which is Nickel Boys, which I'm glad I was able to watch. It was on, or it was recently added to Crave or Prime, I don't remember. Ended up watching it on Monday, which I'm glad I was able to watch. It's a pretty interesting subject, and it's a pretty dark piece of subject matter as well. That's, I think, an important watch for a lot of people. So I definitely recommend watching this. I don't really want to go too deep into it because it's a pretty heart-wrenching movie and it's quite sad. So I would definitely recommend watching it, and it definitely deserved the Best Picture nominee. Although, similarly to here, I don't really know how I feel about just the first-person POV for a film, or for the way that this film is put through, I guess, on the screen. And I just don't. This is the first time I've ever seen a first-person POV movie, and I think it was just kind of hard to adjust to that. So, yeah, that kind of sucks, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. 71 out of 100. Let's move on to Boyhood. Like I said, one of my themes of the week was Linklater movies. And Boyhood, I did enjoy it. Again, honestly, another really amazing technical movie. A film that's literally filmed over 12 years, which is really awesome to see. And it's quite unique seeing that. It's not often we see something like that. And I've thought about movies like that before, and I thought it would always be so cool to make a movie like that. Filming something over a really long time. Yeah, it's really mostly it's just a technical piece with some pretty solid acting, and I get to look at Ethan Hawke a lot, which was nice. Ranked it a 72 out of 100. Let's move on to Blue Velvet, which, again, one of my themes of the year is David Lynch movies, and Blue Velvet is one of his most popular, so glad I was able to watch it. Truthfully, I don't even really know how to feel or what I feel about the movie, or really even what to say about the movie, but I had a good time with it and I enjoyed it, and ranked it a 74 out of 100. Let's move on to High School Musical 3 Senior Year, which actually has grown every time I've rewatched it, and it's growing like a crazy amount. When I first ranked the movie back in, I believe, 2022, I ranked it at 2.5 stars, and I think like a 55 out of 100. And then last year we rewatched them at the start of the year. We watched them together for the first time, Mel and and I raised it up to an 80, so it grew a lot. And then this time it's up to a 90. It's just getting better every time I rewatch it, to be honest. And this is Mel's favorite. On Letterboxd now, if you look, this is Mel's favorite movie. It's been between this and Wicked over the past few months, ever since Wicked came out. But before Wicked came out, this was her favorite movie ever. So, yeah, and we'll talk about another one here shortly. So, this actually does share the 90 overall rating with High School Musical, which I also really enjoy. So they're both at a 90 out of 100 because I just don't feel prepared actually saying that I prefer High School Musical 3 over High School Musical yet. Because High School Musical is a lot more of a childhood favorite of mine. Because truthfully, I remember the first two. I don't really remember the third from childhood. I don't ever remember watching it. And I know it had come out in theaters, but I can't remember ever really watching it when I was younger. So there's a lot of nostalgia, I think, for 1 and 2. And like I said, I'm just not ready to quite pass the torch yet to High School Musical 3. But I think they're very on par with each other. So both at 90 out of 100. I enjoy them both. Well, let's move on to yet another Mel favorite. Like I said, it was her birthday this week. We watched some of her favorite movies. This was actually her favorite movie when I met her, and it's Zootopia. Zootopia is similarly to High School Musical 3. It's getting better every time I watch it. The first time Mel and I watched it when we first started dating, I ranked it an 84, which was decent. I mean, that's a pretty great movie, obviously. 4 stars. Last year we rewatched it around the same time on her birthday, or right before her birthday. We watched it and I ranked it an 87. And then, same thing this year. Watched it right before her birthday, and it's up to a 91 now. And I'm quite looking forward to actually rewatching it again, which we probably will rewatch it again later this year before Zootopia 2 comes out, which Mel is very, very excited for. But yeah, this is still one of Mel's favorite movies. This is her third favorite movie, but her top 3 kind of changes and rotates a little bit depending on the day. So, and that's fair. But 91 out of 100, like I said, just keeps getting better. Let's move on to the top 3 of the week. Up next, Everybody Wants Some, yet another Richard Linklater movie, and this one is just the boys. It's the boys having fun, and this is kind of I don't drink and I don't do any drugs. I've never been drunk. I've never been high, but watching this movie just wishes I kind of experienced some of that stuff, especially when I went away to college. Well, I had a kind of shitty experience when I went to college. I really had legitimately no friends when I was away at college. So seeing this is very different than my experience in college. And, it's also probably a little bit exaggerated. It's definitely not like that nowadays in the 2020s, I'd say. But I have a cousin that goes to school at a party school, and I know he has a lot of fun. And that's just never really something I experienced. And truthfully, I don't think I ever really want to experience it until I watch this movie, just because it looks like it's just such a fun time, hanging with the boys you play some sports with for a weekend. It just looks like a lot of fun. 94 out of 100. Quite enjoyed Everybody Wants Some, and I really want to rewatch it. And I'd like to watch it with Mel, because I think she'd enjoy it as well. And this is just peak summer vibes, Let's move on to 1917, which I've been wanting to rewatch for a few years now. Finally rewatched it, ranked it a 99 out of 100. So it's actually gone up from a 97 up to a 99. Just don't quite feel like it is that perfect movie. Not that I can really think of anything I dislike from it. I just think some of the movies that I have ranked 100 are better. Although, similarly to some of the other movies in this this week, this is really this is a technical marvel of filmmaking. This is such an amazing movie to watch and literally feast your eyes on, because it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous to look at. The cinematography is some of the best I've seen from perhaps in all of film, and I've ranked almost 1,300 movies now, and it really is just quite impressive. I can't get over it enough, and Roger Deakins is probably the GOAT when it comes to cinematography, and he really shows that off here. And yeah. With that being said, let's move on to my favorite of the week, which is, to be honest, another movie with absolutely wonderful cinematography. And I'm trying to think. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, I'm trying to think if this is also Roger Deakins, but no, it is not. Anyways, The Batman. You guys know, it's still one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 4. This is one of my GOATs, man. I haven't revisited it enough while I've been dating Mel, and I need to revisit it more. I watched it on its birthday. 3 years old now already, which is kind of crazy. And that was my 9th time watching it. So it was nice to revisit it once again. Some of the best comic book filmmaking I think you'll ever see. Thank you guys all so much for watching. It ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but thanks for your patience. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.